Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Thursday, and we are now at the 22nd of December, 2022, the time about 7 p.m. Central Time. It's cold in Chicago. We're at about 3-4 degrees right now without wind chill, with wind chill about 30 below outside. The snow did come down, nowhere near as heavy in the city that they had prepped us for, but all the airlines, they're canceling nearly 600 flights at O'Hare, about 270 flights at Midway Airport, the two big airports, canceled, but they're still flying in different areas. The snow will stop shortly, so they'll probably get more flights even out. It'll be freezing tomorrow. We'll be at 0 tonight without any problem, and tomorrow maybe we'll get to 8-9 degrees, and then with the wind chills freezing. But at least the snows didn't bury the city, and we'll be in the high 40s next week. So that gives you an idea there. I mention this because you are tonight at least getting a little bit of a bounce in that gas, but this market's been down dramatically. Energy's, though, doing well. In China, they are talking that at least 1 million people a day, if according to different analysts, are getting COVID, probably 5,000 dying a day, and they look for that number to go up fourfold between now and the first of the year. Secretary Blinken from the U.S. has offered China help if they want our vaccines. You know that won't be the case. They won't do it. I mention that because that sort of hurts some of the metal markets. Think about that. If you're looking for the expansion, how do you expand in the middle of the epidemic just growing disproportionately bigger and bigger? Because most of the people don't have the immunity there. In the United States, we're being hit too. It's not just them. In Chicago, they're already prepping us tonight that they may go back to, in public places, we have to wear masks. They'll determine how bad. The hospitals here, especially the children's hospitals, are bursting. The beds are all taken between the COVID, between the RSV, the flu. They all are getting themselves into trouble. I was hearing that today on the news, which means that it's going to be fairly severe for everybody as we go through it. Keep that in the back of your mind. Now, the next thing to keep in the back of your mind, the economy is simply too strong. You had your unemployment claims today, your jobless claims. They did not go up enough. The second thing is we saw the final third quarter number. You get so many revisions, and it came in stronger than thought. That's what hit the market. Now, you got a holiday market. You got typically thinner trade. I don't think today in the stock indices was thin trade at all. I'll bet it was pretty much a normal day of good volume as people were just dumping positions and saying, I give up, the markets stink. I see no point in holding it at this point in time. And they're going to take off for their holiday, their New Year's, and they'll come back to the markets in January. Wouldn't surprise me if that was the thinking. I like that the dollar rallied and that the euro is breaking because I've been looking since you lost the embedded reading in the euro for it to get down to the 18-day average of closes. So if we could, let's go to the charts and let them do the talk. First, we're back underneath this week now, the 18-week moving average of closes. So I think that's fairly important. That keeps your momentum to the downside. We had an outside day down. Outside day. What do you do with that? Well, let's talk about that for 1 second. I've got my new outside day course. Just happened to lead me into it. I swear to you, it's the first chart. That pattern's very important. Is that a continuation pattern? If you take out the high of that day, is that a reversal pattern and saying, you've reached an important plateau. You're most likely going to go to this number. What do you do with it? All right. You tell me. I teach it in the course. I know what to do with it. All right, you're going to get 9 videos in the course to cover stocks, futures, and ETFs, any type of chart it works on. You get these patterns all the time. I back it up. You get 14 days of access to all my research, spiders, ETFs, everything that I've got on futures. The same with Ira charts. If you don't have it, we'll give it to you or something like it, ideally, for 30 days. The value of that alone is $90, and you're getting a 25% discount on the course. So when does this end? Well, I promise you it's over Sunday, and that's it for it. So I'm sure, because I'll be talking about outside days over and over, it's one of the things you should learn about. You can either click up here, move your cursor, it'll take you right to the area. You can go on iraepstein.com to education and go there. It's all explained as to how you do it. You need not, when you buy it, start the course that day. You tell us there's an activation. We'll get hold of you after you purchase it, right afterwards. And you'll let us know when you want us to activate everything. Then we turn it on for you. You can give it away as a gift. We'll work with you on that. So your choice on it. But a 25% discount, I would take advantage of it because if you know me, I'm not dropping that again. All right. So when we look at the market's now got the outside day to the downside. We are getting a steady open in the evening. The trend is lower highs, lower lows. It is bearish. If you do rally over today's high, big resistance now at the 18 and the 100-day average. Now, there's something else happening here that is bearish. You're only now 15 points away from the 18-day average in red getting under the green number. That is not easy to ignore because it's easy for that to occur. In this type of action with the big break today, you're going to give some weight to that. So early next week, you can get that crossover unless this market really picks up and starts running to the upside. Where did the market stop? Again, with our enhanced Bollinger Band course. Got all these courses that do this, but these patterns happen so often that if you don't learn them, it's like trading with both hands tied behind your back. Craziness to do that. You hit it, and that's where the pros came out today. The first challenge, they took some money off the table. All the money? Well, you embedded on the close. My guess is they took all the money off the table today, and they're going to sell a rally if they get it, unless you take out this low right away. In the NASDAQ, here too, we're trying, let's see if I can get this to embed, see if we're embedded. Remember, in order to embed, you have to have 3 days in a row where you get both numbers under 20. So you have day 1, 2, 3. You're embedded. So now the pros, what are they looking at? They're going to be wanting, in my opinion, to sell the rallies until the red number is over 20. Now, if in the S&P or the NASDAQ, you get a reading where the slow stochastic closes over 21, that'll be the beginning of the Santa rally. The fact that you're making lower lows tells me what? Santa got scared of the cold weather in the United States and decided to go back to the North Pole. I'm being funny, of course. The simple fact is I thought Tuesday would be an important low in the market, and it isn't, certainly in the NASDAQ. It so far is in the Dow. You haven't taken out that low, and you're not embedded, not as bearish as the other charts. And in the Russell, the market is flirting here with the embedded idea. Now, you can't count today, so let's step back and see what Thursday offered. Both numbers were not under 20. So you're just in an oversold market right here. You can't count that for anything. The trend is down, and that's where I'll leave it. Will you take out that low? If you don't, then that's the Santa Claus low, and we'll see if you get much of a bounce. What did I also say to you this week? Even if you bounce, don't look for a big rally. You're certainly not going back up to those old highs. There's arguments brewing today. I was laughing at them actually, that the VIX has lost its importance, sort of like the Taylor principle and some of the other principles that are out there. Okay. There are times the markets do. I've seen that. And there are other times where they're more important. But this has been a year where they said the VIX didn't offer you an awful lot. Well, it is offering you something. First of all, it's not moving one way or the other. It's stuck in the Bollinger Bands. In the bond market, oversold, clearly in a downtrend. I don't like the setup here where you have the 18-day average over the 100. To get a real nice bearish setup should be the flip-flop of that. I'll wait and see what comes. You're getting to that point, though, in the 10-year note. Notice how it kissed the 100. Now, if it heads down, you're probably going to add some more premium back onto this market, which means real rates going higher a bit. In the dollar index, I've been looking for the market to get to the 18-day average to have a problem at it. I still think that's the case. And in the euro, I've been saying I think it can get down to the 18-day average because you lost the embedded reading here. And that's often what happens unless you go up and you take out the most recent high. The odds favor that. But it's also a sign of how strong the euro is in its own way. prices aren't collapsing. It's taking a combination of the average rising and prices sort of stalling out for them to come together, if they come together. In the British pound, you're back in your downtrend. It's been a hard market to trade, too. They have so many problems there. The unions are going to keep going. Mr. Sunak, he doesn't have a strong majority one way or the other. It's going to get very ugly in the first quarter of the year. You watch that. And he can't give in on these labor demands. He'll end up in a wage price spiral that you can't get out of. You can't give 20% hikes in pay. I mean, it's just that simple. In the January Bitcoin, the market is in the middle of no man's land. Now, another one of the coin mint companies got into the bankruptcy today. The judge did allow it. We saw that Sam, Bankman-Fried, he got a bail, $250 million. He claims he's only worth $100,000, if that. His family will put up their house, they've said. Then the judge said if he can get two people of substantial wealth, one could be a family member, the other not, the judge might then consider those signatures, because they'll be signing away quite a bit, as the bail. Often you get bail amounts that nobody can meet in these cases, and judges have tremendous leniency to accept something else in place of it. The amount of the number is to tell you the severity of the case, which is big. Now the two of his partners, so to speak, have turned on him. I don't see any positive for this young man except one thing: jail time. In Brent versus the March WTI coming down, I look for the market to still get closer in price, and you're back in an uptrend in energy. I think the pros will buy the market at the 81.25 zone, but I don't like the risk for my type of client down to 7,900. It's $1,000 risk on a full-size contract. WTI is the same. The trend is clearly up. I see the resistance up here, but again, if you're buying at 76.14, you have to have a stop at 73.40. I'll wait for better opportunities. Money management is just as important as trend in the market. Now, some people will say, well, I won't use futures. I'll trade with an option strategy. Well, fine. But that has its own pitfalls, because in options, always remember that you have an element of decay. That is what an option is about. Every day that goes by, interest rates and time are decays. And they will take that and take away something. I used to play options a lot, and I'd find that I was right the trend of the market and I made no money. And you'll say, well, you did the options wrong. I'm sure I did. But the reality is, I like to trade it simpler. I think options make life too difficult. 90% expire worthless. Why am I going in that game? At the same time, there have been studies which say, 8 out of 10 traders that trade futures lose money. I agree with that if they don't know what they're doing. All right, but I see a number owning a brokerage firm that make money. And those that make money have a discipline, they play it, and I do my best to help you with that. That's all I can say. I can't promise I'd ever make anybody money. It doesn't work that way. If it was, everybody'd be the richest guy that's been a commodity guy for any period of time. You have losing periods, you have winning periods. Higher lows, higher highs. I'm looking for the resistance up here. And remember, when the weather breaks, that'll be a negative on the market temporarily, just the psychology of it. And the same in the nat gas, which notice what it's making its run at, the lower Bollinger Band. Today's low in the market was what? You got as low as $490.50. You're about 10 cents away from that low, and you're very oversold. Trend down. What was today? An outside day. I'm going to repeat that. There it is again. You're going to see these all the time. And when you get an outside day, do you know how to trade it? Again, that's what my outside day course is about. Just move your cursor up here. Take the course. I'm Ira. I will see you over the weekend. I don't know that I'll do an update Friday night. Remember, we're not open on Monday morning. I won't be doing any updates for you at all on Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday with all of you. But that means I've got Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. I will get it done in plenty of time for you. You have a great one. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Take care.